How can we help America and Americans see through the conservative right-wing machine funded and fueled in large part by oil billionaires who really have the agenda of stopping regulation of their industry and keeping their taxes low, but, funding these AstroTurf organizations that are basically doing the same thing Richard Nixon did back in the day with his Southern strategy when, after Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act in 64 and 65, Civil Rights Bill, the Southern strategy was, okay, let's bring the racists in. Well, the let's bring the racists in version today is in part called the Tea Parties. And the way that they're trying to sanitize it and clean it up, Glenn Beck had his little thing on the mall and he said, please don't anybody bring a sign. In other words, we don't want anybody to know what you guys are really thinking. The NAACP, in collaboration with Think Progress, Media Matters, and the New Left Media, has launched a site called TeaPartyTracker.org. Consistent with the NAACP's stated desire to expose the intolerant elements of the Tea Party, this new site is going to aggregate and filter content produced by its partners that's related to the core mission of holding the Tea Parties accountable. And the right wing is already freaking out about this. On the line with us today, Ben Jealous, the president and CEO of the NAACP, NAACP.org, of course, the website. Ben Jealous, welcome back to the program, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's always good to be here.
I did not realize you were a Rhodes Scholar. I got to tell you, I was reading your bio again this morning, and a more lengthy one than I had before, and I was just, it's just amazing. By the way, you're the 17th president and CEO in the history of the NAACP, and the youngest person to hold that position in the organization's 100-year history. Good on you, and good work. Anyway. Tea Party leader fired for advocating violence against gays. This is from Tea Party Tracker. It's already starting to work. Tell me about this program.
The power of our democracy is its people, and we at the NAACP, with 1,200 active units around the country, have helped make this democracy better again and again by empowering those folks in the field to help us see trends as they develop and fight back against them. We did it with lynch mob violence in the first half of our history.
You mean the NAACP fought back against the lynch mob violence? Yes, sir.
That's exactly right. Using the same thing, report them as they happen so we can respond. And and when we did that, we made the country better for all people. I mean, the second most frequently lynched group, we finally shamed this country of the practice of mass lynch mob violence, were Catholics, and specifically Italians. And so you have a similar thing here. We've said to the Tea Party, expel your racists, and it's already, and we've said to our folks out there in the field, watch and see what they're doing, because we know that the majority of people in the Tea Party are just good folks who are upset about hard times, just like our people are good folks upset about hard times. But there are people who have become insurgent into the movement, folks, for instance, who are affiliated with the Council of Conservative Citizens, who carry a different banner.
Which is a white separatist, white power group.
Right. It says that black people are not genetically equipped to participate in democracy. And so by saying to them, look, you're the first major political formation of the 21st century. You've got to act like it. You got to be inclusive. You got to stand up. You have to be civil. First, they expelled the racists. Now we're seeing them expel the kind of these people who advocate violence against the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. And that's great. It's good for our democracy. It's good for our country. It's good for the NAACP, and it's good for the Tea Party. It'll make the Tea Party a healthier, better presence in this country, and hopefully a better place for Tea Party members to be part of.
Well, you've got yes, I agree, and there is this Southern strategy going on. I mean,
absolutely.
This is not an accident that there's racism in the Tea Party movement, and it's not an accident that they're stoking this stuff up, and it's not the viral emails that I'm getting are too well written to be accidental. And,
well, I mean, and let's be honest, it's like gasoline is a powerful force, but it stinks if it gets on you. Right, and so the game here is to, is to keep allowing gas to drip out of that can on that shelf onto your little flame and enlarge it and act like you have nothing to do with the hole in the bottom of the can and hope that it doesn't drip on you in the process. And what we said to them is, look, you've got to separate the gasoline that is hatrism, that is racism and hatred and homophobia and xenophobia out of your movement. If you want to have a debate about tax policy, let's have the debate. But we're not going to let you take any shortcuts. If you want to build a movement on tax reform, build a movement on tax reform, but you're not going to be allowed to use racism, to use homophobia, to use xenophobia without being challenged.
Right, and Islamophobia for that matter. We had in the last hour of our radio program Terry Jones on. Der Spiegel, he's the guy who wants to burn the Koran on 9/11. Der Spiegel, the German magazine, it's on their homepage right now at spiegel.de, ran a story about how he was a pastor of a church in Cologne, Germany for a decade. They kicked him out of the country for spiritually brainwashing people, for spiritual abuse is what the guy who's in charge of the Protestant denominations they're called. The guy's a wannabe Jim Jones. He's got 50 followers down in Florida. I am trying to get this word out as far and wide as I can about this Der Spiegel story so that the national media will stop paying attention to this guy. And I think that that's the same kind of thing that you're doing, is saying let's expose the crazies so that people don't take them seriously anymore. By the way,
and by the way, we've seen so much success, right? I mean, they kicked out. We made the challenge a week later. They kicked out Mark Williams. Well, they should have kicked him out 3 months earlier when he referred to the Prophet Muhammad as a monkey god. Yeah. And so it's important that people stand up and fight back.
Amen. The NAACP is a major supporter of the One Nation campaign and the upcoming march on October 2nd in Washington, D.C. We're live right now, you and I, on Free Speech TV, which is carried nationwide on Dish Network and DirecTV into, 40, 50 million homes. We're the only 24/7 full-time live progressive television network in the United States, and we're going to be doing live coverage of the October 2nd rally. Laura Flanders and I are going to be co-anchoring the thing. I'll be there. You're going to be there. Tell our listeners and viewers about the One Nation.
Sure. On 10/2/10 on October 2nd, we'll have tens and tens of thousands of people here rallying in Washington, focused on putting this country back to work and pulling this country back together. You see when you're in Southwest Georgia, as I was recently, that the two go very much hand in hand. That the hatred and the vitriol and the painting of swastikas on black congressmen's offices is being used to discourage them from making further progress on bread and butter issues facing all of our communities. Right now there's over 350 bills. I think it's getting close to 400 bills are being held up in the U.S. Senate. Many of them job creation bills. We have things like the Ted Kennedy Service Act, which has not been funded yet. Right. Bipartisan support hasn't been funded. 250,000 jobs for young people. An average cost of less than $20,000 a pop because these are national youth service jobs, but can make a significant dent in youth unemployment in many cities across the country. We have the George Miller bill as 160 co-sponsors would create 1 million jobs right away. But is being held up in the House and the Senate, and so there's a need for people to be very clear that job creation has to be job one. There are ideas there, but they got to be pushed through.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's important that those of us who really, 2 years ago felt like we were part of a much bigger, very powerful whole, come back together and re-inspire ourselves so that we can go back into our communities between October 2nd and November 2nd and push folks out there to vote with hope and a sense of unity that we really can continue to make great progress in this country.
Amen. And people can check that out, NAACP.org. And the other websites, sir, are?
OneNationWorkingTogether.org.
And TeaPartyTracker.org as well. Ben Jealous, President and CEO of the NAACP. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Thom.
It's great talking with you. For more on this and other topics, please visit ThomHartmann.com.